Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We drew 1-1 with Fenerbahce, but we are going to be talking about West Ham, which is our next opponent on Sunday, and of course, it will be away at the London Stadium. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so before, drop a like, and also let me know in the comment section what do you think of Ten Hag and what he decides to do during the games, and what do you think of his team selections thus far. So, West Ham themselves have not had a very good season from the start. Julian Lopetegui, who used to be Sevilla's manager and, of course, Real Madrid for a short stint at that, he certainly is not getting a tune out of the West Ham players. And they have some quality in Mohamed Kudus, Jared Bowen, Alvarez, that used to play for Erik ten Hag at Ajax. You also have the likes of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who has joined West Ham and, of course, will be a formidable defender for either Garnacho or Rashford to tackle on the left wing. Now, of course, I will be giving the starting 11 that I think Ten Hag should go with, but I want to just make mention of this. The way he decides games in terms of his tactics, most of the time it's made us weaker. And whether these decisions are because he knows he's under pressure or he needs to survive until the next game, it's quite detrimental to us getting wins. Because how do you take off players that are performing well in games? How do you drop certain players if they have performed well in a previous game? Why have you left certain players like Ahmad out of the team for 3 games in a row and give him little minutes? There is something wrong, in my opinion. What Ten Hag is doing is definitely not a very good job, because by now we should be getting wins, at least comfortable wins, based on who we are playing against. On paper, the games that we have had before, bar Liverpool, bar Spurs, the other games were all winnable and should have been wins. But it seems like his tactics are not working. And that in itself shows a concern for me, because does he have a plan B, a plan C, even a plan D in case certain things happen inside the game? I don't think so. To me, it seems like Eddie Ten Hag has a plan A, and if plan A doesn't work, he tries to shoehorn certain players in positions and hope that they can actually perform to the level that he needs. But it's confusing. Why did he put a right back as Mazraoui in the centre mid position? That doesn't make sense, because you had Ahmad who could play there. You even had Eriksen who could play there. I mean, I could go on and on about the Fenerbahce game and the decisions that he made. But we have to look at the bigger picture, as I keep on saying. We're playing West Ham, and it's going to be a much more tougher game than what Fenerbahce was. If we thought playing against Mourinho was going to be tough, certainly West Ham will know that we are vulnerable. And as we've seen in games before, West Ham has won us. So this Sunday, it's going to be a big performance that will be needed, in my opinion, because Ten Hag needs to get these players firing. We can't score goals to save our lives. Our defense seems good, even though we are still conceding, but it's not as much as last season. The midfield seems to have sorted itself out, but still, Ten Hag wants to tinker with certain things and experiment certain types of plays. And yes, you would want a manager that has tactical flexibility like that. But you can only allow a manager to have tactical flexibility if the plans are working. And in my opinion, Ten Hag's plans are certainly not working, because the same things keep happening game after game. We go in the lead and then we concede. We go in the lead and we concede and lose the game, or draw the game, as we did with Fenerbahce, as we did with Twente, as we did with FC Porto, who probably felt that they should have won us. But now, in the Premier League, we got a win against Brentford, so it's again a different competition. We might say that this is going to be a bit of a easier game for us because our focus is more on the league, if you want to put it that way. But Ten Hag always says after the game, we want to win every game. But I don't see it in the players. I don't see it in his eyes when they show him on camera. He seems like a manager that, one, is a bit lost in his tactics because he's trying to find the right mixture of players. And if he doesn't get the time, I don't think he's going to get that type of team that he really wants or he thinks will execute his plan A to perfection. You have to adjust in game. You have to look at what the opponent's weaknesses are and adjust your tactics accordingly. You cannot have one style of play and play that way throughout the entire game and expect it to work, because certain moments in a game, the opposition will have the ball. And that is when we see where the weaknesses are in the opposition. And Mourinho said that he knew what Erik ten Hag was trying to do with Xerxes. Why did Højlund not start? Because that would have been a much better option. You have Ahmad, who came on only after Anthony was injured. What has happened with Ahmad? Why has there been a sense of, I do not know what to do with him, when he's our natural right winger? He should be the first name on the team sheet alongside Bruno, De Ligt, Mazraoui, etc. because of his quality on the ball and off the ball, and what he provides for our forwards and his other teammates when creating chances. Plus, he's a threat on his own and capable of beating his man time and time again. So this game against West Ham, Ten Hag certainly has to make changes, and I think this is the team he should go with. Onana in goal, and you stick with the same back four. Mazraoui right back, De Ligt and Martinez, and Dalot left back, until a proper left back is back to play or come on from the bench in Malacia or even Shaw. In midfield, you have to go with Ugarte, Eriksen as the man in form at the moment, and Bruno will obviously return to the team as captain. On the left-hand side, I would start Rashford over Garnacho, simply based on experience, but also to allow Garnacho to be an impact sub in the second half. And of course, I want Højlund up front because of his confidence, because he scored the winner against Brentford. Probably must have felt aggrieved against Fenerbahce, likewise Ahmad, because they didn't start. So for me, it needs to be Højlund up front and Ahmad on the right-hand side, because Ahmad will look to create for Højlund and Rashford and Bruno and Eriksen, etc., that maybe come close to him. And of course, Rashford himself can try and find Højlund, but it's much more of a lethal threat when he's running directly at goal, beating his man. We saw it against Fenerbahce, and he just kicked wide of the goal with his left foot. But we know the quality that he has in terms of beating players. This is the team I think Ten Hag should go with, because this team allows balance, it allows for good play going forward, and we need to start Ugarte, because in my opinion, he was man of the match against Fenerbahce, a goal-saving tackle, and the tackle that he made to kick off our attack in which we scored our goal. So certainly that needs to be the team, and Ten Hag certainly has to have more than one plan in order to try and win against a team like West Ham. Because away from home, we are not the best, and we concede goals, and the moment we concede one goal, the team starts to capitulate. So that must not happen. We must not allow West Ham to start the game fast, because they will. Their fans and themselves will be up for this game every single time they play Man United at home. We know it's going to be a tough game. Erik ten Hag and the players must know that. So they certainly have to adjust their performances accordingly and match the intensity that West Ham will play at them. Yes, I said West Ham didn't have a very good start to the season, but in games like this, their players, the Mohamed Kudus, the Jared Bowens, etc., they can turn up and cause our defense problems. So Ten Hag has got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. The players have a lot of pressure on their shoulders because we need to start winning. Forget about having good performances, which has to be there as well as a standard. But we need to start getting wins under our belt, because if we don't, and if Ten Hag continues to draw and lose, because that can happen, then I don't think Ten Hag will be lasting until the end of the season. Because Ineos might decide to sack him, bring in an interim, or sack him and bring in another manager that they feel is right for Manchester United. But that's another conversation for another day. So I hope that we win against West Ham on Sunday, because we need to start climbing the Premier League table if we want to even have a chance of getting into the top four. And of course, Ten Hag needs to make the changes that he needs to make, because we have players in form, but he keeps on taking them off. Enjoy the weekend, Red Devils. Let me know in the comment section who you think Ten Hag will start for Sunday's game against West Ham, what you think the result will be, and of course, anything else you want to talk about on Man United. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Till we see each other again, Red Devils. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.